So I talked about the potential Mario characters we could see in Mario Kart 9, but something Mario Kart 8 did that changed everything was bring in guest characters from other franchises, such as Link from The Legend of Zelda, the Inklings from Splatoon, and Isabella and the villagers from Animal Crossing. I expect more guest characters to appear in the next game, so I decided to list a few characters I would like to see in Mario Kart 9. For this list I tried to be somewhat realistic with my picks, meaning no dumb shit like Goku, Shrek, SpongeBob, and Shaggy. Shut the fuck up with these picks. After putting various Nintendo characters into Mario Kart 8, it opened up discussions on potential characters we could see in future Mario Kart games. However, before Rob was put in Mario Kart DS, another series of Mario Kart games would feature guest characters, those being the Mario Kart arcade games. Due to Bandai Namco working on the arcade game along with Nintendo, this led to various Bandai Namco characters appearing in these games, including one of the most iconic arcade characters of all time, Pac-Man, and Miss Pac-Man, and Blinky. So how about we bring all three of them back in? And hell, add the other ghosts while we're at it too, those being Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. Highly doubt any of the other Bandai Namco characters from the arcade games will appear, as I feel Pac-Man's legacy in the 80s arcade scene makes him a more likely candidate to be featured as a guest character in Mario Kart 9. Mario and Pac-Man did cross paths once again in the Super Smash Bros. Games, which did lead to Pac-Man getting his own amiibo, which will unlock costumes in Mario Kart 8, Yoshi's Woolly World, and Super Mario Maker. So the chances of him, his wife, and the 4 ghosts appearing in Mario Kart 9 are higher than most third-party characters out there. In Mario Kart 8 we got the Excite Bike track as DLC, which was a really fun track, but one thing we didn't get was the Excite Bike Racer. Once upon a time on Nintendo's Satellaview there was a game called Excite Bike Bun Bun Mario Battle, which replaced the Excite Bike characters with Mario characters. This was the first time Mario rode on a bike, long before Mario Kart Wii, so there has been a history between the two franchises before the track's inclusion in Mario Kart 8. Excite Bike also appeared as a minigame in 2 of the WarioWare games and was a costume in Super Mario Maker. The last Excite Bike game was in 2009 and it was a WiiWare title. So if Nintendo don't have any plans for this series, I'd suggest adding the Excite Bike Racer to Mario Kart 9. Now I know what some of you are thinking, why him? He's generic and faceless. That doesn't matter, seeing as people suggest generic faceless characters all the time for Smash. And have you seen some of the characters in other racing games? Considering how many basic enemies are in the game, I don't see why a character that has existed since 1984 shouldn't be in the game. Also, a literal racer in a Mario Kart game is a no-brainer. Link being a guest character in Mario Kart 8 was a massive surprise and absolutely opened the forbidden door for what we can potentially see in the future. And because of that, I wouldn't mind Link returning in Mario Kart 9. But I don't want him to be the only Legend of Zelda character to appear, so how about we include Zelda and the main antagonist Ganondorf as well. It's not out of the ordinary to include 3 characters from one game, seeing as the villager boy and girl were separate characters at one point, plus Isabelle, so having all 3 of them could potentially happen. Much like Link, the 2 have been in the Super Smash Bros. Games as well as amiibo costumes in Super Mario Maker. Speaking of costumes, Zelda could have her appearances from many Legend of Zelda games appear as costumes, as well as a Sheik costume, and adding Ganondorf would add another big time villain to the Mario Kart roster. I feel there is a better chance of more Zelda characters getting added over Splatoon and Animal Crossing characters, seeing as I encounter more people playing as Link online over the other guest characters, and Zelda and Ganondorf would be great choices. Zelda wins! Another Nintendo character from an iconic franchise that doesn't get as much love as others, we have Samus Aran from Metroid. Unlike Zelda and Ganon, Samus has actually made a few cameo appearances in Mario games pre-Smash Bros, such as her appearance in Super Mario RPG, the WarioWare games, and her gunship makes an appearance in Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. So why not add her to Mario Kart as well? There's quite a lot you can do with Samus, such as having a mini version of her gunship be a cart in the game, as well as having Zero Suit Samus be an alternate costume, with some unique animations between the 2 costumes. Maybe when you do a trick, Samus will fire her arm cannon in the air, or turn into a morph ball for a few seconds. Much like Pac-Man, Samus does have an amiibo costume in Mario Kart 8, which is probably her only connection to the Mario Kart series, so how about we put her in the game? I get the feeling the reason Link was added to Mario Kart 8 was to hype up Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which was previously announced, so seeing as a new Metroid Prime game is coming out this year, why not do the same thing with her? This is a suggestion I've seen a lot of people make and it makes absolute sense, but I would like to add my own spin on this. So how about we add Sonic and Shadow? Because at this point, why not? Of course you could say Tails, Knuckles or Eggman, but I feel they won't be adding too many characters from one game, especially third party games. The reason I choose Shadow was mainly because last year was the year of Shadow and Sega did quite a lot with Shadow with the movie, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations and other things. I know the year of Shadow is over, but why not add him along with Sonic and Mario Kart 9? There have been multiple Sonic racing games and one thing you probably didn't know was that Mario was planned to be playable in the Wii version of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, but for whatever reason Sega decided not to do that. For years fans of both franchises wanted a proper crossover with Sonic and Mario, and they got the Olympic Games, which isn't what they wanted and not a lot of people play as Sonic in Super Smash Bros. Seeing as they haven't updated his movesets in Brawl, so why not give the fans something they want, Sonic and Mario competing against each other on the racetrack. Something else that I realised is that Sega are set to release Sonic Racing Cross World this year, and to avoid a similar situation like when the last game was released in the same year as Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel, maybe they can lend Mario and another character over to Sega for the Switch version, seeing as Sonic sells better on Nintendo anyway. I highly doubt we're getting that platformer or RPG crossover that some clamour for, so this is the next best thing. And who knows, if this works, well, perhaps the crossovers we desire can happen. Nintendo has just been dangling a carrot on a stick with this one. Captain Falcon. In Mario Kart Wii you can unlock the Blue Falcon, which was then brought back from Mario Kart 8 along with Mute City, Big Blue and a Mii costume. So why not add the man himself, Captain Falcon, to the game? Much like the Excitebike racer, adding an actual racer to the game is a no-brainer, especially one whose kart and tracks were in the previous game. The F-Zero franchise is a series of games that fans would really like to see another installment of. The most recent game is a free-to-play battle royale game on the Switch, which is really fun and all, but it wasn't the game fans wanted. The last true F-Zero game was a Japanese exclusive GBA game from 2004, and the last game we got in the West was also a GBA game based on the anime. Hell, someone went as far as to buy enough stock in Nintendo just to ask Nintendo in a shareholders meeting when the next F-Zero game is coming out. This wasn't your typical Nintendo YouTuber, this was a Japanese gamer, their core audience. Nintendo just need to stop with the teases altogether, put Captain Falcon in the game, don't include the Blue Falcon or the tracks without the man himself, and begin working on a proper F-Zero game. Or at least port GX to the Switch and let me and my friends play online without the need of Parsec. Overall, I would like to see Captain Falcon in Mario Kart 9. When this trailer first dropped, we all thought we would be in for a good time with Kirby coming to Mario Kart. But unfortunately for Mario Kart fans, this trailer was just to announce Rosalina and Luma were in Smash 4, and all we got was another Mii costume. Perhaps Nintendo can do right and finally add Kirby to Mario Kart 9. There is the highly underrated Kirby's Air Ride, which they could take some inspiration from by adding the Warp Star as a vehicle, and for costumes, sky's the absolute limit for what you can do. You can use different coloured Kirbys, Kirby with different costumes from the copy ability, or better, you can reuse the costumes from Super Smash Bros. Kirby is certainly a franchise that gets a lot of love from Nintendo, seeing as the Nintendo Switch got 6 Kirby games, so who's to say he can't appear in Mario Kart 9? And who knows, maybe Nintendo might make another Kirby Air Ride game. Alright, this is Future Me here, and at the Switch 2 Direct we got a trailer for Kirby Air Riders, so yeah, looks like we have 2 racing games to look forward to. Overall, I think Kirby deserves to be in Mario Kart 9, seeing as he is one of the more popular characters to play as in Super Smash Bros. A few years ago, there was a leak saying that Nintendo were about to announce a Star Fox racing game at E3, which sounded way too good to be true. And it was, seeing as the source of this leak was from none other than the liar Robertson. As much as I would like to rag on the Hulk Hogan of game journalism some more, I will say that would be a pretty cool idea. We'll probably never get a Star Fox racer, but what we can get is Fox McCloud in Mario Kart 9. Fox could have a miniature R-Wing for his kart, and perhaps when he does a trick, the R-Wing could do a barrel roll, which would be cool. Star Fox hasn't received as much love as it should have. Every game since Star Fox 64 has been average at best, or an inferior version of Star Fox 64. The last game was the cancelled Star Fox 2 for the SNES, which had been leaked online for years, meaning a lot of people have already played it. Hopefully they do decide to put Fox McCloud in Mario Kart 9 and Nintendo begin work on a proper Star Fox game that isn't just a remake of Star Fox 64.
It's about time you showed up, Fox. You're the only hope for our world.
I'll do my best. Andros won't have his way with me.
This is one I see quite often, Pikachu. It makes sense as Pokemon is the largest franchise of all time and Pikachu is the mascot. Now I know Game Freak are awfully strict when it comes to their IP and you can't really trust modern Game Freak these days, but like Master Chief in Fortnite, I want to play as Pokemon in a good game. I was curious to see if there was a Pokemon racing game, only to learn that there was, but it was awful. So why not put Pikachu in a good racing game to wash off the stink that is Pokemon Dash? Seeing as Game Freak is about to release Pokemon Legends ZA, why not just add the most iconic Pokemon to the most iconic kart racer for some promotion. Also, the idea of using Lightning Bolt as Pikachu would definitely be a sight to behold. For the last guest character, I decided to go with one I have not seen anyone suggest, Captain Olimar from the Pikmin series. Why? Well, in case you didn't know, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga was originally going to feature various cameo appearances from Nintendo characters such as Link, Excitebike Racer, Samus, Fox McCloud, and of course Captain Olimar. So why not finally put him in a Mario game for Mario Kart 9? Now, I know he did appear in WarioWare DIY and had amiibo costumes for free games including Mario Kart 8, but that doesn't count. And as if we've established before, no, he is not too small. If he can be in Super Smash Bros, he can be in Mario Kart. All 4 Pikmin games were released on the Nintendo Switch and they sold really well, so why not add Captain Olimar to the game? And that's that. Are there any guest characters you would like to see in Mario Kart World? Let me know in the comments. The next Mario Kart World video should be whenever. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you later. Bye.